Hey guys, Zyndae here from the Golden Lamb located at angelfire.com/game/link40, and today I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be making like a collection video again. And I know I've done this before, but basically I want to be able to show you not only my Zelda collection, but I'm going to show you the main games in my collection, games that I know I will always be keeping in my collection, and I'll explain to you pretty much what I get into so that you know me more personally on like kind of a more personal level of what I get into. And it's not going to just be Zelda stuff, like I said, it's going to be like a bunch of like my other figurines and things like that that I have. So we're going to start this off right away with the poster that's actually right behind me that I got for free from Nintendo. If you are a Club Nintendo fan, there's a poster collection you can get by spending coins, and you get these coins by registering your games online. So there's the Zelda poster that's right behind me. And we're going to continue to pretty much go through the rest of my place here and show you some of my other posters that I have. It's right over here. We have the Mario poster here, and this starts with Mario 1 down here and shows all the way up through, pretty much all the games that he's been in, all the major games anyway. And it goes all the way up, of course, to New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii, and this really cool retro background thing here. So that's pretty much those two posters. So let me get to some of the other ones around my place here. Let's see. If we go all the way over here, we have the Link poster, which is, Link from the very first Zelda game, 1987, all the way from Link, from Adventure of Link, Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time. We go to Majora's Mask. We scroll down over here to the Oracle series, Wind Waker, Four Swords Adventures, Minish Cap, Twilight Princess, and then of course, Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. And that pretty much tells you, what he looks like in that kind of scenario. And it says. Oops, I totally just knocked down a picture. But anyway, it says all the games that he's in and stuff. The picture that I knocked down was actually the other half of the Game Informer cover, which is Link from Skyward Sword. Let me grab it here off the floor real quick. I can't believe that just happened. But this is the other half of it. And it kind of goes together as it was a wraparound cover, as you can see. I'll put that back up in a second. So that's pretty much the Zelda ones there here. And then if you scroll on over to... We have the history of Donkey Kong here. This one's actually closer to my laptop, which is where I do all the majority of my videos from, as you can see. The laptop's right there. But this is the history of Donkey Kong. As you can see, it starts off with Donkey Kong from the arcade series, which goes into the NES series all the way to Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii. And then the final poster that I have displayed up here is the original Donkey Kong. As you can see here, it's from the very first level of the original Donkey Kong that was for the arcade, and then originally, of course, then remade for the NES. So now we're going to move on to the next part of the collection. The next part of the collection here are these individual cards that they have made. When Twilight Princess was first launched back in 2006, they created a collectible card collection types thing. I'm just going to go through some of them here. Obviously, that's Link. It's not coming in very clearly, but it goes through Zelda, Ganondorf, Midna, and of course Zant, Skull Kid. These are the cards that I personally keep in my binder because I'm a big card player. I play a lot of different card games and stuff like that, and I'm a geek like that, yep. And just a couple of the other cards here. The Master Sword, there's the Hylian Shield, there's the Claw Shot, Boomerang, Bow, the Fairy in a Bottle. It is called the Mirror of Twilight Guardians. And then, of course, the actual Light Spirit Guardians themselves. This goes hand in hand with a couple of the Mario Galaxy cards they made. And there's a couple Mario Kart cards that I have mixed in together. But overall, I do have all of the cards in the sets. It takes a lot of money to actually collect all of these. Like I said, half of them are Mario Galaxy cards. This one is a Mario Kart card. That's Mario Kart, that's Mario Galaxy. That's Mario Galaxy. I'm sorry, that was Mario Galaxy as well. And it goes over to here to more Mario Kart. So some of these are mixed together just because of what I want to be able to display in my binder. This is a binder that I bring with me to my local hobby store all the time. Oh, there's some Sonic cards too. So, if you're all interested in the Sonic aspect of some stuff. So that's that. But the other cards here, it's a pretty big stack of cards that I don't have displayed in the binder. And these go as far as, just a lot of the characters that you find in the game of Twilight Princess. All the way up to Possess Zelda. Now some of these are getting out of order here, and some more of the foil cards back here. And it's about, I think, like a 100 card set, maybe 90 cards. But I do have the entire set of Twilight Princess, and some of the other cards that I still have left over from the Mario Kart and the Galaxy 2 I have stored away in a box here. Here's some more Galaxy stuff. It goes as much as the bees, and we can go to, you know, the major burrows and, you know, some of the other characters and stuff from Galaxy. If you get deeper down into the stack here, you go into, you know, the POW block from Mario Kart, the golden mushroom, you know. So there's a lot of cards in this particular collection. So these are the Twilight Princess cards, and once again, these are the Mario Galaxy / the Mario Kart cards that I have kind of just stored together. So those are just cards in general of what they've released. So, you know, try to look around for some stuff, and, you know, I just got these at my local, you know, like retail stores, you know, like Walmart or Shopko's and stuff, and I'm not trying to advertise where I got them, but that's where I bought them. So, alright, that's the card collection of my collection. Alright, next part of the collection here is the book series that I've picked up. Right now, the first one we're going to look at here is a children's book. It's called The Legend of Zelda Moblin's Magic Spear. It's by Golden Look Book. But as you can see, old-fashioned link goes on there with a Moblin. And you can page through it here, and it tells you basically kind of like a really generic story about Zelda and something about the Triforce and that Ganon trying to steal everything like he always does. And, you know, some of the artwork's kind of neat. I actually haven't read through this entire book at all, because I just have really no interest. I just think it's really kind of a cool little gem that I have in my collection here for when it pertains to Zelda. You know, here's kind of a neat overall picture. This is you know, it goes to both pages here. You know, and Pig Ganon, as ugly as he is, but whatever. You know, so I mean, it's a small little book here. Let's page through the rest of them. You know, Moblin looking like he's freaking out. He's got a bomb in his hand, and here's the explosion. You know, and then the last page. So I'm assuming there was some form of a series. I haven't really looked into it myself, in terms of exactly how many books are in the series or what number this book is or anything like that. You know, I mean, if you know, that'd be great. You know, I'll take the information, I'll write it down somewhere and probably try to find the other ones eventually. But as of right now, I'm just not going to sleep over it. The next one that I have here is The Legend of Zelda Oracle Seasons Game Boy Color. This is like a winning strategies guidebook thing. It's got a couple of, it's kind of, actually I think it's, once again, this is another book I have not actually read through. So this actually looks like it's more of a story. Sure enough, chapter 22, The Maze. You know, chapter, what is that, 23 or 24 is right there, Gnarled Root Dungeon. Gliok. You know, and I guess it kind of goes through the entire series, or the entire story of Oracle of Seasons here. Sorry, this is a little bit more organized, but here's some pictures that they have in this book. This I've actually had for a while. I'm surprised I didn't show this in my original video. But, you know, they show a couple pictures in here. It's an easier read, definitely, for kids. But it's really kind of still neat. I mean, having the other one of this, I think, would be kind of cool to have. I think I would definitely go out and buy the Oracle of Ages one, because there's got to be one. They're not going to just make one. But it's published by Scholastic, so, you know, that's kind of cool. So we'll just put that on top of the stack over there. I have a Conquering Zelda, the Unauthorized Guide. It's a step-by-step guide to Conquering Legend of Zelda and The Adventure of Link. The book is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, there's a bunch of just text. They have little neat pictures like this where they'll show you dungeons and stuff. You know, like here's another one. They show you how to get through some of the chapters, and some of the, like, Tri, I'm assuming stands for the Triforce. It's where you get the Triforce. That's where you enter. Key probably stands for key. I mean, let's see. Yep, sure enough, key stands for key. You know, so I mean, it shows you how to get through it. You know, and that's Zelda 1. And Zelda 2 is gonna be back here somewhere randomly. You know, like here's one of the dungeons. I'm assuming, maybe not. I don't know. Once again, this is something I don't use. I just happen to have it. Someone bought it for me. It's kind of a neat little book. You know, so something I just kept. Then we move on to the Viz Kids books. This is something I did show in the last series. These are more of mangas. They read backwards. You know, here's the spine of the book. Here's the pages. You set it down so that you open it up from the right, you know, from left to right. And this is more like a comic strip. You know, where you read from top, you know, top to bottom, or right to left. You know, and then you just go through it. They made quite a few. They made 10 of these. There's Ocarina of Time Part 1, Ocarina of Time Part 2, which I think is a pretty sweet cover. Majora's Mask, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, Four Swords Part 1, Four Swords Part 2, which is personally my favorite cover, a Minish Cap, A Link to the Past, and then they made Phantom Hourglass. I have not seen any more books after these 10. but they're all definitely a pretty interesting take on the series. They're definitely somebody's representation of what they feel has happened in the games when the games lacked explanation or anything else like that. You got some sweet pictures on the back that are colored. But every book is in black and white. They don't cost that much in America. They're only $7.99. Yeah, so I mean they're not too bad. They're definitely a good read. So if you're a Zelda fan, I would definitely check it out. I know you might still be able to get these on their website. It's just vizkids.com. So I mean definitely give them a look. So that is the book collection of my. That is the book series or the book collection of my personal collection here. And let's move on to the next part. With all Zelda stuff, I mean, with everything Zelda, I collect everything Zelda that I can possibly find. So that brings me on to the guidebook section, I guess, of this video. So here we are. I have a lot of the Zelda guidebooks, a lot of them. And we will go through all the ones that I do own. I know I am missing a couple, but let's go through them here. So we got the original official guide from Nintendo Power, back when Nintendo published Nintendo Power. It's Ocarina of Time. Really good guide overall. I really liked it a lot. Very colorful pictures. I really liked the maps. They were very, very, very detailed. The overall guide, though, itself is okay. They do the number system where they tell you 1, 2, 3, where to go, and then you got to correspond to the map. Like here's number. Well, that's supposed to say 2, but it's really. Well, now you can see it. And then you're supposed to see that number 2 tells you that's where you're supposed to go, but it doesn't really tell you how to get there per map. I don't know, I guess it's kind of hard to explain. I really liked the art in this. This particular book is falling apart a little bit, which is really sad. I actually have a lot of stuff that I got when I was younger. I was only 12 when Ocarina of Time came out, so unfortunately I did not take care of all of my stuff that much. It wasn't really until I was a little older, like 16 or 17, I started really taking very, very much pride in my stuff. So that is the Ocarina of Time official guidebook. This one is another official guide from Nintendo Power, A Link to the Past guidebook when A Link to the Past was remade. This one is really cool because I was looking for an A Link to the Past guidebook for a very long time. Never could find an original one or if an original one even exists. But, really good book. Not that I really need any of these books, because I don't. I just collect them because I like the screenshots. I like everything in them. So I just collect them just to look through them. I think that's just really neat. This is a really good guide. Very thin, but very, very good and to the point. So it also covers the 4 swords section of the game. So, really cool to have. The next one is also, once again, an official guide from Nintendo Power. It's the Minish Cap one. These seem to have gotten better as Nintendo published these. Why they don't anymore is very sad. I know they just don't want to, or money situations. I don't know what it is, but the guidebooks were so good. And I personally like Minish Cap a lot. So this is a really good guidebook. Not too thick, just like the Link to the Past one, but nonetheless gets the job done. Skyward Sword is the next on my stack here. This is pretty thick. It's the Premier Edition. This is published by Prima, which is pretty much the company that does all of Nintendo's guidebooks now. Very good job. Prima has seemed to have gotten better. I used to absolutely hate Prima. There's a lot of mistakes that I have found in all of their guidebooks before. The Skyward Sword one seems to be no different. There are a few mistakes I have found in it, but nonetheless, it still gets the job done. And as long as you know Zelda, for the most part, you can figure out the stuff that is incorrect. Not too much of a big deal. I have the Twilight Princess GameCube version guidebook. Very thick book. This is even thicker than the Skyward Sword one. I don't know if you can really tell by me holding them up individually, but I mean, there we go. But it's a pretty thick book. This book was very, very good. I like this one a lot. They had a bestiary in this book. They had a full guide on how to get everything. They even gave you like a heart container thing up in the top left-hand corner, how many hearts you should have at that point. Threat meters on every single enemy. This book was fantastic. This was definitely a great buy for Twilight Princess. Very, very helpful in many situations, especially because I went through the Wii version first, and everybody knows the Wii version is backwards. So when I played the GameCube version, I was very, very, very lost and confused. Majora's Mask is a couple of these are down the list here. Are official guides from Nintendo Power. You can see the next 4 of them are, maybe 5. Yep, they're 5. Yeah, so they go for a while from Nintendo Power. But this is Majora's Mask. This book is falling apart a little bit in the back here. But this is a really good guidebook. Once again, it's got the pictures like how like Ocarina of Time book did it. But once again, goes through the whole, number 1 go here, number 2 do this, number 3 do this here, but doesn't tell you how to get to each of those points. This is a good book to have for the Piece of Heart locations because there's 52 of them. In comparison to this book, because this book covers 4 games and is very thin. I mean, if you look at Majora's Mask alone is that thick. This book is a little thinner, and this covers 4 games. So, this covers Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. What I liked about this book is it does a sufficient enough job that if you know the game, it'll help out. If you don't know the game, though, you're gonna get lost. There's the same concept where you go, it's A leads to A, step 31, step 30. But the stupid part about this is that when you go to Zelda 1, let's go to Zelda 1 here real quick. Let's get to a dungeon. The first step in Zelda 1 is step 1, collect the key in the first dungeon. So then naturally it goes to step 2 and step 3 and step 4 and so on and so forth, which is fine. But then when you get to the next dungeon, you think it would start over at 1. It doesn't. It starts at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and continues to actually count forward from there, so that by the time you get to level 5, you're on step 23, step 24, step 25, and it throws you off because you think that there's that many steps per that one dungeon, and there's not. This is an overall complete amount of steps you need to do per game. So, and then it starts over, back when they get to the second quest, where it starts back over at, 1 again, wherever 1 is, there it is in the first dungeon, then 2, and then step 3, but in the second dungeon, step 4, step 5. I mean, it does that throughout the whole guidebook, and it's so obnoxious. Overall, though, I really like the art, especially the back of it. I think that's really neat. The big old Master Sword on the back, that's kind of cool. And the book itself, as you can see, is reflecting me. It's shiny, so it's really neat. Oracle Ages and Seasons is next. And once again, it is a book from Nintendo Power, so same concepts again. I'm going to kind of speed this up a little bit because the ones from Nintendo Power are exactly all the same. They all have numbers, they all have maps that are really, really well done and drawn out, and they do a great job overall on bestiaries and how to defeat stuff. So, I have Wind Waker's. This is Twilight Princess for the Wii coverage, which is the main book that I use actually, if I ever have to use the book, because I actually don't have this game memorized yet, so I still don't know where all the Piece of Hearts are. So, ironically enough, Four Swords Adventures from Nintendo Power. Phantom Hourglass, which is just obscenely big for no reason at all, because the game itself is not that big. Spirit Tracks is the same concept. Very, very big book. The last 2 are by Prima. The artwork in here is really, really good. They do a good job, but I remember seeing in Spirit Tracks book a few times things were messed up. So, it can be a little hard to follow. I like the art on the back though, that's kind of neat. And then, of course, the final one I have here is the Ocarina of Time 3D. And I can't say it's the final one because there's one book that I am not showing you that I'll explain in a second. But the Ocarina of Time 3D one, of course, covers all of Ocarina of Time again. And it also covers the Master Quest version. The book I am not showing you is the one published by Prima when Ocarina of Time first came up. It's another Ocarina of Time guidebook, and that thing is just completely torn to bits. It literally does not have a spine anymore. I do have it. Maybe when I pull out the next part of my collection, I'll pull out just the cover to show you that I still have it. But I do have the original Prima guidebook for Ocarina of Time as well. So that is my guidebook collection. Alright, we're moving on. Alright, and here on to the fun stuff. This is the stuff that I personally like a lot. This is my second favorite thing I collect besides the games themselves. The figurines. So here we are. We're going to do a couple of these at a time here. I still have the bin over here. It's full of some random other stuff that maybe I should show you that I do have. This is a sword to a phantom, the shield to the phantom. Here is a green rupee. I have a master sword that actually comes out of its scabbard. I have a scabbard of the master sword. I have the master sword that goes to that scabbard. Actually, ironically enough, goes to this link that's down here with the shield. I have a force gem. Maybe I should hold it like it actually is. There you go. And then a baby Goron. And then I have a little map. And that's actually belonging to Linebeck wherever he is on my table, scattered about here. But anyway, there's the smaller little items that are just set aside in that bin. I have a bin that I put those in too, because I don't have a way to display them at the moment. So anyway, so here we got the Ganondorf that I explained in my last video. If you'd seen it before I deleted it, that my brother actually broke. The leg itself actually fell off when he broke it. Purposely did it because he was mad at me, which kind of sucks because it's a really cool item. But anyway, here's a Ganondorf. A lot of these are Mario too, so bear with me if you're not a Mario fan. Princess Peach keychain. This is Castlevania. The guy from Castlevania, Simon, that's his name. Simon Belmont. Here's the Goron that goes with the baby Goron. Here is B Mario from Galaxy. Lakitu. Here is a Link figurine. Here's a little knife that goes with actually the Impa that's down here, which I'll show next. Here's Impa. The knife goes onto her back on this little hook thing. So we'll put that away. Here's a Chain Chomp. He's on wheels, so you can actually roll him on the table. It's kind of cool. Here's a Babam. Here is one of the bunnies from Galaxy. Child Zelda from Ocarina of Time. Paragoomba. Like I said, here's the Hylian shield to this Link. Get some of these big guys out of the way. Here's Epona. This thing is gigantic. This Link actually can sit on this Epona, and as you can see is ridiculous size difference. When he sits on the Epona, he looks like it's just way too small. Like in comparison wise, it's just tiny. This is Zelda's horse. The same situation where Impa and Zelda, the Impa and the Zelda that I showed you, can sit on the horse, but it's just size difference is really, really bad. Here's the Phantom Steed to Phantom Ganon. And speaking of Phantom Ganon, here's Phantom Ganon with his trusty trident and his mask, which is kind of cool. So we'll throw that in the bucket here. Here is Mario, standing on a little base so he can stand up. Here is Fire Mario. Here's a Bullet Bill. Here is Dixie Kong. This is actually really new. This just came out probably about a month ago. Bee Mushroom. Here's a Koopa. A Boo. Here's Linebeck, one of my favorite supporting characters ever in the history of Zelda games, or just in games in general. Wow, I wish this thing would just come into focus. Here's a Toad keychain. A Shy Guy, one of my favorite creatures, or monsters, or bad guys, or whatever you want to call them from the Mario series. Here's a Yoshi spin toy thing. You spin this and he just spins around. It's actually really obnoxious. Spring Mario, along with the Spring Mushroom. B Luigi. Here's an actual Yoshi figure. Here's a Luma from Galaxy. Here's the Phantom I was telling you about. His arm is currently off because it's actually a separate piece. These little pieces. This one, along with the Linebeck that I showed you, is supposed to stand on a base. Oh, and the Goron and the baby Goron, they're supposed to stand on little bases, and they get actually put together. So his hand is in the bucket somewhere. Here's a Bowser, which I finally was able to get my hands on. That took me a while to get. This is actually a little bit bigger. It's kind of like the size of a Donkey Kong, which is right here. They're pretty big in comparison to, like, if I grab a Mario again, I mean, in comparison, like the girth and just the size overall difference. I mean, I suppose he's just as tall, but I mean, this is a, I can grip this. This is just, this hides in my hand. This is huge. So it's kind of hard to see on the camera here, but I mean, nonetheless, there's the Donkey Kong that I didn't really show you. I was just kind of doing it for comparison. Here is Luigi, regular Luigi. Here is a Diddy Kong. This is a wind-up toy that I think came up from a Burger King collection, I think. This is a Charmander, where the Charmander lights up if you're a Pokemon fan. And a couple of my other Pokemon toys here. Here's a Ho-Oh, an Arceus. Here is Giratina, and a Lugia. And these are all my little miniature figurines that I have. So that concludes that part. Here's the grand prize of them all, out of all my figurines, is the Fierce Deity Link, which I have shown on a previous video. But basically, this is a gigantic box. I mean, this is my hand in comparison. This is a really, really big box. Basically, this thing cost me $140 when I first picked it up, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity. There's only 2,500 of them worldwide, and that is my number. So I actually kind of find it cool that it's actually handwritten on there to determine that if that's actually the real number. The card that you get is more like a credit card. It's got its official number on it as well, which is really, really neat. But anyway, as for the figure itself sits on a base. It's really heavy, actually. Once again, it's got its number on the bottom. This is felt. You know, you can't really see, but it's soft like the top of a pool table. This is heavy. The figure itself is right here. As you can see, the detail in him is unbelievable. This is a resin statue, and if you've ever held a resin statue, they are not light. His hands are up here, but his arms go up here, and they go into the hand piece here, which holds the sword. Standing up, it shows exactly how he's standing on the box. See if I can get some more focus here on the pictures on the side. Here we go, here's a good one. I'm not going to put it together up here. I keep this thing actually stored away because I don't want it to collect dust. I don't want it to get ruined or anything like that. But yeah, this is the grand prize of pretty much the entire figurine collection. This thing is absolutely cool. Man, I wish I could see how much it weighs though for you. My scale's in my bathroom, but I'm not going to go do that. I'm sorry. But yeah, this thing is, this has got to be at least 3, 4, 5 pounds in just this one thing right here. Maybe not quite 5 pounds because, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It's pretty heavy. I'm just going to give it that. So, there you go. There's one figurine I just forgot to show you too, that I did show in my last video when I had it up, that I do have a Link bobblehead. It's a Wind Waker Link bobblehead. It used to stand on a GameCube, but when I had a cat, she broke it. Yeah, and that really made me mad. But the GameCube piece is actually right here, where it stands on its base. And you can see that's part of Link's feet. So, like I said, it sucks. I do have a lot of cool stuff, but a couple things are broken, which is very, very unfortunate. So, and that concludes that section. So, let's move on. CDs is what's next. As you can hear, there's some music playing in the background. There has been this entire video except for the beginning. And we're playing it actually off of the Majora's Mask soundtrack CD. And this song's kind of annoying, ironically enough, that I'm going to change it. Anyway, let's go in order here. The very first one I got was Ocarina of Time. And when this first came out, actually, I believe, in a CD. I can't remember if it came out in a CD case for sure. But I know that since then I have actually taken apart the CD case and put Ocarina of Time on the front of this actual DVD case thing. And then they came out with a Twilight Princess one, which came in just like a paper case, which I hate. I hate paper cases because they can scratch discs. So I took both of them apart and put it in a gigantic DVD case that consists of both actual CDs. Here is the soundtrack list for the Ocarina of Time one, and this is the soundtrack list. There's only 7 songs on here for Twilight Princess. So I have both of those CDs. The Twilight Princess one I thought was very, very sad. They only have 7 songs, seriously. There were so many songs off of Twilight Princess that was great that I wish was on that disc, and it's not. Majora's Mask also came in a paper case, which once again I hate. So I actually took that one apart too, and put it in front of another DVD case. Put the back on the back, and this was actually a 2-disc collection. So disc 1 is right here. Disc 2 we are actually currently listening to. If you really, really want me to prove it, I'll turn it up. But disc 2 is what we're currently listening to. But here's disc 1's soundtrack list, and disc 2, which is upside down. But nonetheless, it is still all there. A couple people have told me that they've come out with Wind Waker ones and some other ones or whatever that I don't have my hands on that would be cool to have. But I don't have them. Ocarina of Time soundtrack CD, 3D. So this is actually a much better collection of the music for Ocarina of Time than the first disc was. Here's the disc art, not really that impressive, but it's 25th anniversary of Zelda. This is fairly new. This comes in its official CD case, which is really neat. This was much, much better done though than the original Ocarina of Time one because it actually has every song in comparison to the original one not. So there you go. That is my soundtrack collection.